Okay, so we're going to create a drawing of one of our parts. So over on the side here, I have one shape drawn. You'll have five or more. So there's two ways to do this. I'm going to show you one way, and then we'll actually do the second way. But just take a look at my screen. On the bottom side, there's a little plus symbol. Click the plus symbol here. There's a bunch of things that come up. Create new. You can create a folder. You can create a drawing. Create an assembly. You can create a new part studio. You can create a bunch of stuff in here. You can create a drawing from here as well. But for this piece, we're going to click out of here and go over to one of your parts, whatever shape you want. I only have one here. And you're going to right click that and click create drawing of part one. So when you click that, you're going to get a box that comes up like this. And typically what we do is we click custom template, and you'll have some parameters here that we have to check. So for this, it should already be set to ANSI, English, size A, units are in inches. This is fine. For this, you can include a border. You can leave everything as is. Down here, where it says OK, check that box. And you will get a screen. It might take a second to load. You'll have your drawing page with some text on it. And you'll notice if you hover over your piece, you'll see your shape. Now, up on the left-hand side, you can see it's showing you the view orientation and the scale. So if I want to change the scale, right, maybe make this a 1:1, I can change this view scale to 1:1. And we typically, starting with the front view is fine, but you can start with different views if you want. We'll start with the front. And maybe for this page, I'll actually leave this 1:2 so it all fits on the page. And I'll click once here. And now you'll notice I'm still in that command. So if I move my cursor over to the right, you'll see it will change the orientation. My computer is kind of slow right now. It'll change the orientation of that shape. So if I click and drop it here, it'll create the side view. If I click this again as my reference, that first view that I dropped, that front view, if I click that and drag it up and click, it will now have my front, top, and right side view. Now I'm going to hit escape to break the command. So I'll have my normal cursor. Now what I can do is I can move this, and you'll see when I move this, it now creates a nice organized multi-view of my piece. And what I can also do, I can add the isometric, right? That 3D view up in the top right. If you go up into the top right, you can insert a view. There's two different ways of doing this. I can show you here, insert view, change that to isometric, and then go into the top corner and add it where I want. So that's one way. So I have my isometric, my front, my top, and my side view. I can delete by holding it, click and delete. You can also insert isometric another way, but you know what? I don't want to confuse you right now, so we will just, well, I'll show you. If you click here right next to where it says insert project view, if you select this and you click one of these as your reference, so I'll reference this front view. If I click that and then just move my cursor over, it will then automatically create an isometric view. So again, we have our views. Now I can make adjustments to this after, so I can double click. Maybe I want this now to be a scale of 1 to 3. It'll shrink them all down. I can show the scale. I can show it'll show the view. If I want to view the label, so it'll show it as front. Depending on what you want to show in your drawing, you can have these in here. I don't need to have it as this. I'm going to leave it as 1:2. I will view the label, so I'll go hit the green check mark here. I'll go to all these and just add view label. So we know all these are labeled, top, front, right. And next thing I want to do is add the dimensions. So you can click D on your keyboard, or up here you see it's the same icon as it is in the Part Studio. And you can add dimensions to these. You don't add dimensions to the isometric view, but I'll add them just like we do there. I can click points or lines. We don't need to over define, so I won't actually add that. What I'll do is try to add as minimal to each view as I can. So right there will be enough. I'll label this, even though we know it's isometric. Add the view. Okay, so we have our dimension drawing. It looks good. It's clean. It's easy to read. I can see all my parts. Everything's dimensioned. Now, if I zoom in, this is our title block. So this is where it will have our name, right? Again, this is what we would send to the engineer or we would send to the manufacturer, depending. But this is where we would change our title, right? We don't need to worry about this too much, but I want you to understand how it works. So if I go here, I can change the title. So I can give this a name or a title, right? So I can just double click in here and add, you know, shape 1. I can change the size of the fonts. Don't worry too much about that. That's just showing you it's size A, it's scale 1 to 2. This is standard, right? This is what drawings look like when you get them in the field. And there you go. You have your simple drawing. If you make adjustments, right, which is nice about this, if I make adjustments, if I go to my part studio and say, actually, I made this too small or too big, I actually need to make this, instead of 3 inches tall, I'm going to make it 2. If you make your adjustments here and go back to your drawing, you'll see up in the top left-hand corner, there's a little yellow dot with a arrow in it. If you click that, that'll refresh your drawing. And what it will do, it will update your drawing and it updates your dimensions too, which is really great. So if you need to make any adjustments to anything, right? And a couple of rules, right? You want your dimensions to be far enough away that they're not on top of other existing lines so you don't get confused. So when you can, just drag them out, keep them nice and centered, easy to read, and something that looks like this. With your name on it, it'll automatically put the date. You don't need to worry about this stuff, but I want you to know how it looks.